In today's video,
Church of Scientology is now removing the door handles from outside of their door so people don't get in.
How real is the Mandela effect? Is it just a conspiracy or a theory?
So some of the rituals require aborted fetuses. Some of them require tiny babies. Others require like a woman who's in the prime of her reproductive cycle.
Just randomly picked me, and I woke up while they were doing it. I'm going, what the fuck's going on? My room was white.
The ultraterrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultraterrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s?
Do you think that these deaths are related to UFO programs?
There's this famous story about Princess Di.
as usual, we've got a compilation of videos that are going to make you question everything. We've got some videos that are going to be telling us about different types of rituals. What do you know about skull and bones? Look, I'm going to need you to grab your coffee, grab your tea, whatever your preference, grab your snacks, come back, fasten your seatbelts, because we've got a lot to dive into. But let's start right here where these strange alien breeding statues were unearthed. I'm not too sure where they were found, but they're definitely going to question the narrative that we've all been taught.
The DS is very, very adamantly fighting to prevent you from learning about extraterrestrials. That's the last thing they want you to know about. They want you to be afraid. They want you to see them as gods, to see them as authority figures. The last thing they want is for you to understand there's a higher power that answers Christianity, answers Islam, answers Buddhism, answers Hinduism. It pays off all of these ancient teachings that we've inherited that often become religions.
We have these statues where we have some type of alien creatures having sex with human-looking women. Now, this is extremely creepy because we don't know when this predates, how old these statues are. But when we look at these statues, they describe a story that we were told in the religious texts.
Church of Scientology is now removing the door handles from outside of their door so people don't get in due to the challenge that has gone viral online. I'm going to show you this full clip in a second. It's actually insane. It's almost every single one of their doors. But if you haven't seen the videos online, people are now rushing into this building and seeing how far they can get before they get kicked out. They want to see what the heck they are hiding inside of this building, but just take a look at the outside of their doors right now.
Look at that, they got it chain closed. Look at that, they got a bike lock around, they took the handles off the door and they put a bike lock on the door. That's gotta be a fire violation. Look, they took the handles off this door too. Another door, look, no handles on this door. No handles on this door, it's gotta be.
What are they hiding?
Took the handles off of this door. Look, took the handles off of that door too.
No more door handles. And we got a bike lock on the door.
After seeing this video that's been going around, I'm starting to wonder if we're living in a simulation. This video that's gone viral, this guy claims he was at a farm in the morning, like around 6:30, 7 a.m. when the sun was rising. And he claims that right there, the sun and the sky glitched. Watch this video. So he took this video, watch the sun blink. Did you see that? Watch it again in slow motion. What the heck was that?
It looks computer generated.
The angle of the phone, it just didn't look like that to me. It looked like a light was turned on and turned off. Let me know your thoughts in the comments of what you think or thought that was.
So extreme, what I've just described. This is the aspect of digital money. At the moment, you can refuse to pay the fine and you can challenge it. But the idea of digital money, the fine will be taken out of your bank account immediately. And the other thing about the universal basic income is that it will be programmed so that you have to spend it within a certain amount of time and then it gets deleted because they want to stop anyone building up any level of money that would give them choice. It is something that you see portrayed over the last 20 years or so in the movies and the TV program, this dystopian technological AI world. Why is that? It's because they're preparing you, consciously and subconsciously, to accept it with far less resistance than if it came in and you were completely unprepared for it.
How real is the Mandela effect? Is it just a conspiracy or a theory? We'll take a look at these next 3 items. Do you remember the movie Shazam with Sinbad that people swear never happened? The actor even came out and said he never made a movie like that, but yet people remember watching it and even having that VHS tape. How about the Berenstain Bears? Do you remember those books? I remember as the Berenstain Bears, but the authors and the company have stated that it's never been the Berenstain Bears. It's always been the Berenstain Bears. And what about the Fruit of Loom logo? The company itself, it states it's never used a cornucopia in its logo, but yet we remember it with the cornucopia. We'll take a look at a proof from a witness who's come forward with items that he has locked in his safe that he's had for years, proving exactly the Mandela effect.
What happened to saying hello? I believe we got off on the wrong foot.
Don't come in close.
Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start all over, right? I'm gonna introduce myself. I am Shazam! Genie of the Light.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I've seen this part of the video before.
Bears. Berenstain.
It doesn't make any sense to me, and what's never made any sense to anyone else is why this guy's got all of this in a safe. like, why have you got the book, the VHS tape? Like, why have you got this all in a safe? How did you know that this was all gonna happen? The Fruit of the Loom, like he's got it all. I just don't know. It's just so weird, like how he knew that this was all gonna happen.
So when you're first introduced to this craft and you see the reactor that's covering this thing that's generating this power.
They decided to take that out to the nuclear test site. They x-rayed it. They only found a small tube that went around it. They really couldn't determine how it worked or what was going on. They cut into the reactor while it was running and the reactor exploded. That's what killed or hurt the person that I replaced. It produced the base gravitational wave that propelled the craft. I mean, when they removed it, the craft didn't work. Every single other craft they found had something either exactly like it or similar to it. They determined that was the power source. That's at the point that I was introduced into the project.
Did you try to touch it?
Yeah.
What did you feel?
An elastic feel. You can push down, but you can't get close to it. The closer you get to it, the more it pushes.
That's very interesting. The way he was explaining it towards the end sounds like some type of magnetic field.
Yeah, and I had a UFO experience, and that was in 67, 68.
And you weren't high or anything?
No, I didn't do drugs. I didn't even drink back then.
And who visited?
They just randomly picked me, and I woke up while they were doing it. I'm going, what the fuck's going on? My room was white. I mean, it was like I couldn't see anything. It was a complete whiteout. I lay there, couldn't move. All of a sudden, they said in another language, just telepathy, this is done. You know, he's waking up or whatever, and they yelled a numerical code that was obviously, you know, like your passcode to get into your shit, you know? Yeah. And boom, it was almost like a wire in the air. And I woke up and it was black, and I was shaking and I couldn't.
Imagine that, waking up, being in a room, and all you see is these alien creatures around. I mean, he doesn't even describe what he saw, but he basically sees someone. So here we have a representative called Eric Burleson, who used to work with a guy called Matthew Sullivan, and I believe Matthew is one of the scientists who have gone missing or been found dead. And he claims that they were both working on a UAP together.
We're also learning that the 2024 death of former Air Force intelligence officer and would-be UFO whistleblower Matthew Sullivan could be tied to this growing mystery. Congressman, what can you tell us about Matthew Sullivan?
I first learned of Matthew Sullivan from David Grush. Whenever he began working with our committee, he had asked me to reach out or to write a letter to the FBI and requesting an investigation into his suspicious death. And so we've been working on that. Whenever I spoke with the FBI in the last few months, I asked them directly, is there any investigation that you've begun in that? They seemed to indicate that they would not tell me at this time. And so, but they would not confirm nor deny that there was an ongoing investigation. I'm thankful that now we are having that discussion about Matthew Sullivan, because it's something that my office was trying to get some answers from the FBI over almost a year ago.
I mean, this story of the missing or found dead scientists is extremely bizarre. And look at the dates. Look at the dates of when these people either disappeared or were found dead.
The ultraterrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultraterrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future. P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future. It wipes out most of like everything, man. And there's the ones that go underground and survive, right? And then there's the ones that somehow stay on the surface and miraculously don't die. My dad got poached by this weird ass investor.
So just to quickly pause it at this point, this lady that's talking on the screen apparently is one of the scientists that have gone missing or been found dead. He is claiming that aliens, the great aliens, I'm only assuming it's the great aliens because I've heard this theory before, that the great aliens are us from the future. She says P-52, which is 52,000 years present to this day, 52,000 years into the future. Which then means if we're seeing them today, they are traveling back in time. They're coming back in time to prevent us from turning into them. That's basically the theory.
So aliens are just us, humans from the future. That's not me talking. That's what scientist Amy Eskridge said on camera. She talked about ultra-terrestrials, not beings from another planet, beings from right here, Earth, just thousands of years ahead of us. Two groups she called P-47 and P-52, future humans who survived some kind of apocalypse and somehow found a way back to our time. Now think about that for a second. If that's even remotely true, it means someone figured out time travel. If you crack time travel, you probably crack space travel too, because time and space are not two separate things. They're the same fabric. Einstein told us that. So if you can bend one, you can bend the other. And maybe that's exactly what we're missing. Maybe some civilization out there, whether it's us from the future or someone else entirely from a parallel universe, already figured this out. They understood something about physics that we haven't caught up to yet. Something about time dilation, about quantum mechanics, about how reality actually works at levels our science can't even measure yet. Because let's be honest, every few decades we realize everything we thought we knew was incomplete. What if there's a law of physics we haven't discovered yet that connects all of it? Time, space, gravity, consciousness. And the moment we unlock that one missing piece, everything changes. We go anywhere, any place in the universe. Maybe that's what Amy Eskridge stumbled onto.
Do you think that these deaths are related to UFO programs?
I hate to say, I can tell a personal anecdote. When I did the show Conspiracy Theory with Jesse Ventura back in 2011, we talked to Dr. Fred Bell, who has written many books on various theories about the UFOs and technologies related to UFOs. And Dr. Bell told us off the record he had met various other world species. I think he described one as gray alien in one of the underground military bases because Dr. Bell had worked with the U.S. military for pretty much all of his life. He was a genius, and he'd been part of these programs, and he actually talked about meeting these beings, and within the day of telling us this, off the record, he told us, well, my CIA handler probably wouldn't want me to tell you this. He was dead. They said it was a heart attack, but it was very bizarre that within 24 hours of that conversation, he was found dead in his hotel room.
What I find extremely weird is that of all of the aliens out there, I mean, there's a variety of different aliens according to the UFO community. Why is it that we only capture the greys? Like, why do we only ever come in contact with greys?
The different holidays, it requires killing people in different ways, so, and different ages. So some of the rituals require aborted fetuses. Some of them require tiny babies. Others require like a woman who's in the prime of her reproductive cycle, things like that. And if they take a woman who's in the prime of her reproductive cycle, the way that you kill them is by slicing them across the throat. So we were in the Idaho wilderness, right outside of this. I guess if you go from Preston, Idaho, and you drive up this side canyon, you're in this huge aspen grove. And so we were up there, and probably 5 minutes walk from one of the main roads that was winding through that particular area. And we were all brought to this place where people were wearing these gold masks with like purple robes, and then some people were wearing black masks, or black robes with white masks. So they're all standing in this grove, a lot more than just the coven that I had been introduced to.
Different holidays that require killing people in different ways. This is extremely demonic and disturbing.
Skull and Bones is one of the most famous secret societies in the world. It was founded in 1832 at Yale University in New Haven. Their meetings take place in a building known as The Tomb, a windowless crypt-like structure on Yale's campus. This is where their private rituals and meetings happen, completely closed off from the public. Famous members such as George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, John Kerry, and William Howard Taft. The Skull and Bones has a reputation for producing members who got onto the hold of high positions in government, business, and intelligence. Their symbol is a skull and crossbone with the number of 322, often referred to as the Order of the 322. The members are called the Bonesmen. If you look at the symbol, it's a skull, which is the place of the mind, and the bones, which is a place of action. So it's a symbol of mind and body with no connection to emotion. The symbol is grey. Grey is an emotionless color. In my opinion, I think it's a satanic society where they only work with mind and body, occult powers, and never nothing to do with emotion, because emotion is the feminine side of human consciousness.
There will be some shots fired tonight.
An armed person running through a checkpoint before shots were fired.
The very first public unveiling in a public presentation of Project Looking Glass. And what happens is when you fire this thing up, these rings start going in all different directions.
Yeah. Wait.
The Iraq War had, to a large degree, the mission of capturing a looking glass technology that was dug up in Sumer. So what they found that was so bizarre was that at December 21st, 2012, that for some reason all the graphs, all the waves would go into a complete flat line.
Sound is making my ears ring and the visuals are making my eyes blur. I don't know what the hell I was supposed to see in this.
We're getting ready to see people from President Obama's camp get served with federal indictments, because there was definitely a collusion process that took place to be able to rig the last election. And when we seen Obama's chef untimely die, he was getting ready to go public about a sexual relationship that him and Obama had. The Russians had this information. The Russians had this information.
The man died. The man died. He said he smoked crack with Obama.
Yes.
He said he smoked crack with Obama. One time he snorted coke. Second time he smoked crack with Obama.
And now he's dead.
And both times he had sex with Obama.
And now that man.
What guy is this? So it says here, death of Obama's chef ruled accidental drowning. Oh, wow. I've never heard about this. It says that Campbell's death was not considered suspicious and he had no external trauma or injuries when he was recovered from the pond. From the pond? You're actually telling me he died in a pond? It says here, Campbell was found about 100 foot from shore and in 8 foot of water.
There's this famous story about Princess Di. It was the story that she saw the royal shapeshift. She said everybody shapeshift except for Queen Elizabeth's husband was the only one who didn't shapeshift. They shapeshift into reptilians, she says, and she saw her basically. She said Queen Elizabeth ate this kid's soul. This, like devoured it. We can get into shape-shifting. Suddenly all these celebrities, they leave fat and then they're gone for a couple months and come back and they're like in insane shape. And everybody thinks it's Ozempic and all that stuff, or it's shape-shifting.
I've got so many questions after that one, but I want to leave it to you guys in the comments, and I'm going to respond to as many of those comments as I possibly can. So don't hesitate, get in there, hit the like button, turn your notification bells on. We're going to be back with more videos like this. You don't want to miss out. Don't go anywhere. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.